Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Happy Friday, y'all. I hope you guys are all staying warm out there. For those of you on the south half of the country, I don't even know what to call it, but hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Woo! Feels good to be alive, especially when you're this cold out here. I mean, it is cold. Okay, I don't know where you guys are at, but I'm telling you right now, this winter is wintering right now, okay? And obviously a lot of people are really bracing for a very intense snowstorm that's supposed to be like brewing anytime now. I think it's already started in some areas, and then it's going to be like, hitting other areas first thing in the morning, and then it's supposed to get really nasty throughout this weekend. So hopefully you got enough bread and eggs and milk to make enough French toast for the entire city in your home. You got to get the bread and eggs and milk and that TP, that toilet paper. Don't forget that toilet paper now. Don't forget that. But anyway, hopefully you guys are doing well out there. Again, hope the show finds you in good spirits. Do me a favor before we get into everything. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. Sorry, not crush that subscribe button. Crush that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. Do what it do. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, because I'm on all them mugs, make sure you hit that follow button. Subscribe here. Now we're getting into the subscribing part. Subscribe here. All right, subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? If you want to, go and subscribe to my Twitch and my Facebook accounts as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. The support would mean the world to me, okay? So make sure you're subscribing to those platforms. Subscribe. Subscribe to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips, right here on YouTube. And check out Pascal Raw. Subscribe to those channels. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that notification bell on all those platforms. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it is random though. 'Tis random. At least for now. All right? Especially this weekend. It's going to be absolutely random. I'm just letting you know. When the snow starts hitting, and if it starts hitting the way they say it's going to be hitting, we're going to be talking about that and covering that as well. All right? But we got some things we got to get into, so make sure that notification bell is set to all. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my new membership as well. We would greatly appreciate the support, okay? Hit that join button for sure. Check out my Patreon as well. It's right there. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. Go check it out if you want to support even further. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, we got to get into some conversations. Can't be on for a very long time tonight, okay? It's been a very long and crazy day. I'm gonna say it. I was supposed to be on TMZ today, and it didn't happen again. Yeah. So that's the show, everybody. So that's the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning. I'm kidding. Hold on. I'm kidding. But it's quite the story. It's quite the story. Okay. So I could have been on earlier today, but I didn't get a chance to, because I was getting ready and prepared for TMZ. And then for the second time in a row, I got bumped. Yeah. Second time in a row. Dos. So I don't know if I'm going to be on TMZ anytime soon. I'm just going to be honest. Yeah. Very frustrating. I mean, I sat around for hours. I'm not kidding. I sat around for hours. And I get it that the news cycle will change. Things happen, so on and so forth. But I sat there for a good long time. And what's crazy? Okay, let me just tell you the story really quick. Okay, it's very quick. So last Friday, I was supposed to be on. And so I'm sitting there. I'm ready. I'm in the backstage. This time it didn't get to the backstage. At least they didn't do me like that. This time, camera was on. I could see the backstage on my screen. They're doing their thing. You see Harvey and Charles, okay, having their tete-a-tete about certain things. They're talking about and commenting on things, and they're talking about the actual subject matter that I'm supposed to hop in and put in my 2 cents on, right? So I'm sitting there. This was last Friday. I'm sitting there, and they go, as they're talking about the subject matter that I'm supposed to be on, they go, I am so sorry to do this to you, but we have to we have to go to the next subject matter. We're really behind today. And I was like, okay. I mean, it's disheartening. It's frustrating. You know what I mean? You put the time, you put the effort. You're there. And usually during the time that they're live, I'm live, right? Usually around that time, give or take. If there's something breaking, usually around the afternoon, I'm doing it. I'm live with you guys for 3-4 hours as of late, right? So I'm sitting there going like, dang, I just wasted a whole day getting ready for this ish. And damn, right? So then today, okay, I am, they hit me up. They're sitting there going, okay, here are the subject matters that we're looking at. And I go, okay, I could talk about this, or this one. And they said, okay, we would like you to talk about this one. Okay, so be ready at 11:50 Pacific Standard Time, which is like 1:50, not 11:50. Yeah, it was like 1:50 my time or something like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. And just so you know, I was supposed to be on to talk about the comedian fight. Yeah, Corey Holcomb and the girl Christina. I forgot her last name, but they had a whole video that just came out, right? Showing the actual fight. He put pause on her. Doesn't show her putting pause on him. But that's a whole other conversation in itself. So as I'm getting ready, about 30 minutes before I'm supposed to be on, I get a message saying, yeah, so we're bumping you from that. Can we give you this one? And it's about AI actors, okay? Actors being upset about AI, this Tilly Norwood AI actress that's making waves, so on and so forth. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, okay, like I'm getting ready. I'm like, okay, how much time do I have? They're like, you got 40 minutes to like do your research and kind of have a solid opinion about this whole situation. So I'm like, okay, cool, bet. But they're like, be ready at this specific time because we're going to be calling you at that time. Cool, bet, no problem. I'm sitting there. My time has showed up and I haven't gotten any call. I'm just sitting here chilling. I'm watching the show, just seeing them do their thing. And then all of a sudden I get a message. I'm so sorry. We're behind. We're going to have to, we'll have you on in a little bit. And I'm going, hey, I got things to do. I've already been bumped. You already bumped me back. The first time it was like, you're going to be on at about 11. Then you said it's 11:40, which would be 1:40. My bad. It's not 11:50, but it was 1:40 my time. I got things to do. Okay. I got things to do. I got a life here too. And I got to work. Right. So I said, okay, fine. That's fine. No problem. 1:40 is fine. 1:40 came, went. They said, oh, I'm so sorry. Just 15 more minutes and it'll be fine. Their show ends at 11:45, which would be 1:45 my time, right? So I'm going on at the very tail end of the show. So in my mind, I'm like, there's no way they're going to make it to me. It's already 1:40. And they're telling me 15 more minutes, right? So I text them being like, hey, are you going to, am I going to be on? Am I going to be on the show? Because I got things to do, But I asked, are you sure I'm going to be on? You've already changed the subject on me 2 different times, right? They're like, yes, you'll be on. I'm like, okay, all right. I'll wait the 15 minutes. 10 minutes go by, and you will not believe what they said. Oh, hey, sorry, we're bumping that story. Can you look this thing up? And it's about like PR a PR agency being hired by the fire department, LA fire department, after the whole fires that happened and everything. And I'm sitting there going like, how much time do I have to be ready for that? Because I don't know anything about that. That's all news to me. You got 10 minutes. You know what? I'm bowing out. Thank you. I appreciate you thinking of me, but maybe another time. Like you got me, you got me reading up on the Corey Holcomb thing. You got me reading up on this AI actress, Telly Norwood or whatever the hell her name is, and now you're doing this other. I'm like, damn. And don't get me wrong, like I'm malleable, I'm flexible, I will bob and weave, but I'm like, you're giving me 10 minutes, if even that, to look this up, read a whole article, get all the information I can get, and then I'm just gonna shoot from the hip. So I'm like, you know what? They're messing with me. That's at least what it feels like to me. Because that's the second time, y'all. The second time in a row. I was supposed to be on last Friday, and I stopped everything so I could be on that. And then this happened today. Same BS. Oh, no, not this one. But the next one. What? Why is this happening? Why? What did I do? Now, I understand the Corey Holcomb thing because the actual comedian that he put his hands on, they had an exclusive interview with her. So I understood that part. That's fine. I moved it. Like I moved that, right? I moved the goalpost. I'm like, all right, that's fine. That's an exclusive. I get it, right? But they're like, you're going to talk about this. Cool, bet. I had 40 minutes to do all the research, do all the information, get everything so I could stitch together a nice, good 2-minute blurb, right? And then they did it again. They changed it on me again. And I'm like, no, I'm good. So that's what happened yesterday. Remember why I said I was being summoned? Yeah, I was being summoned by TMZ. TMZ was actually hitting me up, trying to get me to be on the show while I was live. And they're like, please come onto the show. Please. And I'm like, I am live right now. I am doing my show. I can't be on. Maybe tomorrow. I will put time away for tomorrow, but not today. I am on my show. I'm doing my job. And so again, yeah. So a whole day, whole morning and from morning to mid-afternoon was basically wasted. Wasted. And I don't know how many other people that they do that to. I have no idea. Okay. But it was legit. That's legitimately a producer over there. I was in the backstage, getting called in and all that stuff, like everything. It was legitimate. But it's disheartening when you're putting in your time and then they don't put you on. Now, that's only happened one time before on another network. It's only happened one time. Only one time. And that never happened again because it was just kind of like we got breaking news and blah, blah, blah. But 2 times in a row? Come on, bro. Come on. You know what I mean? It gets to the point where it's like, okay, now I'm feeling a little bit disrespected here. We all put in our time. We all put in our work. It was just trash, in my personal opinion. And I don't know if they do that to other people. I don't know. I have no clue. But I'm sitting there going like, dang. Like, I could have utilized that time to talk to you guys, cover the stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? It's very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. But, on to greener pastures. It is what it is. At least, one thing is for sure. Hey, TMZ showed interest in me, which I look at that as a positive, right? But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going back there anytime soon. Okay. Not unless it's a guaranteed schedule with Thizang. Real talk. Like, real talk. So, all love to TMZ. I get it. It's chaotic. Like you watch the live, the behind the scenes live. It's chaotic. There's news flying left and right every 5 seconds. Things get moved around. I get it. But you got a guy who you bumped off last week that said, okay, I will dedicate this time again, one more time to be on. And then you give them the runaround again. I feel that's very disrespectful. Extremely disrespectful. All these content creators, all these people that are excited like myself to be on the show, to say their 2 cents about something, even if it is for this 30 seconds, it feels, it's a huge milestone, right? It's a huge honor to be on there. But to be treated like that 2 times in a row, yeah, I feel disrespected. I will say that. But I needed to tell you guys that because I didn't even tell you guys this time. Because last time I did the TikTok or like a short letting you guys know like, hey, I'm about to be on TMZ because I was excited about it. This time, though, I was really cautious going, let me just see. Let me just see what's going to go down and if they're actually going to put me on. And then they gave me the runaround. So, yeah, don't do anything like block TMZ. There's no bad blood. It is what it is. I learned something there. I learned something. I learned a valuable lesson. Okay? My time is just as valuable as anyone else's. And I tried it twice. 2 times is enough for me. Yeah. 2 times is enough for me. So let's move on. Let us move on. We got things we have got to get into. And there's some really crazy stuff that's going on, okay? All day so far, there have been these strikes going on, which has been nuts, okay, in Minneapolis. And I'm still kind of wondering, what is it going to be like tomorrow? With all the snow that's coming through, with all the cold, etc. I mean, this snow isn't going to be hitting as far north as Minneapolis, but I'm wondering, they're going to be hit with that cold front. And it's cold as hell up there right now as we speak. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with that too, right? How are these protests going to continue in this blistering cold, right? But let's take a look at this.
Because of those bitter temperatures. Canceling classes today because of those bitter temperatures. But the weather, it's not only impacting schools and keeping people home.
Yeah, in fact, many businesses are shutting their doors today to protest immigration enforcement here in the Twin Cities. Leah Bino has more from the newsroom on what's being called an economic blackout today on this Friday. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, that's right. That's the goal, an economic blackout aimed at getting financial attention to the federal government. The list of businesses closing because of the weather and because the day of action continues to grow this morning that we are seeing. We've seen preparations for this mass day of action since last week, many calling for people not to go to work, no school, no shopping. Hundreds have responded at this point. Organizers say they hope this day of action somehow hits ICE specifically financially. Now, Minnesota's last major general strike was back in 1934. A little bit of a history lesson here. The Teamsters led labor action that shut down Minneapolis's trucking industry was put into motion. The union at that time demanding union recognition and better working conditions, and that escalated into a citywide shutdown. That strike at the time went on for an entire summer after it came on the heels of what is known as Bloody Friday, when police shot at picketers, killing 2 and injuring nearly 70 more. According to the Minnesota Historical Society, instead of a one-day strike, this strike went on for about 2 months, but did eventually succeed with a Citizens Alliance business group and some significant union gains. Now back to today's focus, today's strike. Some plan to brave the cold and take part in a mile-long march in downtown Minneapolis. It will begin at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Commons and end with a rally inside of Target Center. This is a ticketed event with the same usual Target Center rules applying, meaning no large bags, no strollers, and no signs on sticks, things of that nature. Meantime, on the other side of downtown, the Guthrie Theater has also changed.
I mean, obviously there's going to be, there's a lot that's already happened. I mean, this is obviously this morning. Of course, we're going to continue on. But again, it's thousands of people showed up for this march, which was impressive. Take a look at this.
Live images from the Target Center in downtown Minneapolis, where anti-ICE protesters are gathered after marching through the brutal cold. Hundreds of businesses across the state are closed today in a show of solidarity.
I mean, this is a massive economic hit for Minneapolis, or even just Minnesota in general. This is crazy.
And dozens of faith leaders were arrested at the airport today. You can see some of them here let off in zip ties and loaded onto a school bus. They're urging airlines to join the call to end the immigration crackdown.
Despite the cold, protests got a little heated at the Whipple Federal Building. The sheriff's office used pepper spray after protesters threw snowballs at squad cars, breaking windows. Some were let off in handcuffs.
Also today, federal agents defending their decision to detain this little boy.
Now, you heard about this 5-year-old boy, right? And there's been a lot of pushback. This whole story is very polarizing. Some people say that ICE was using this little boy as bait, okay, to get the people that they were trying to get, the parents of this little boy. And then there's other people that are saying that the parents ran, like allegedly just took off and ran. And then of course, the kid was there by himself. So that ICE agent just took him under his wing. It's very interesting, the pushback, okay, that's been like the back and forth. One side is saying one narrative and the other side is saying another narrative, right? What say you guys? Was this boy used as bait, or was it that the parents ran and he was there all by himself? Comment in the family chat.
They say his father took off running and agents took care of him.
I will say unequivocally that we are experts in dealing with children. Let me say that again, experts in dealing with children.
March and rally through downtown Minneapolis, protesting ICE arrests in Minnesota. Our Frankie McLister joins us now from the Target Center.
Frankie, certainly a cold day to march outside. That shows some commitment there. What are you hearing from demonstrators today?
Yeah, guys, and that definitely didn't stop folks from coming out here. We are inside of the Target Center right now, where on my press badge, it says the name of the event, and that is ICE Out of Minnesota, and what they say, a day of truth and freedom. We'll toss to some video right now, because there was a march that led up to this entire gathering right here inside of the Target Center. This is the scene of what we saw earlier, folks gathering on what they are saying is a general strike today. As we know, many businesses are. I
got to pause it right there. Look at that. Damn. That's a lot of people, y'all. That's a whole lot of people. What a turnout. Like I said.
Closed, or they say their reasons why they're open today. Minneapolis schools being closed today too, but they do have a teacher work day. So that brought a lot of folks out. The march started near the Commons, which is right smack dab near US Bank Stadium. It proceeded on 3rd Street, up Hennepin, and then it landed right here at the Target Center. Now, I spoke with a teacher amongst all of those protesters who said what she's most concerned about.
The safety of my students and their families, their inability to work and make money, getting groceries, paying their rent, and frankly, the violent tactics that are harming our community.
So that's just one of many we spoke to. I want to clarify, there were also folks at today's gathering in downtown. I haven't seen any inside of here, but that were for and praising the federal organization. Let's go ahead and walk over here. Our photojournalist Dave is going to kind of just show you what we are being told. The organization that organized today's event is called Minnesota 5051, and they are known to organize like a lot of the protests we've seen all throughout Operation Metro Surge. What they said on their social media.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip ahead. Okay, you got Praz playing in the background.
Only WCCO cameras were there as 2 of the protesters arrested for interrupting a Sunday service were released. We asked, was it worth it?
Of course it was worth it. Anytime that we have a chance to stand up for the people of Minnesota, vulnerable communities, Renee Good, I was thinking about my 8-year-old daughter and wanting to get home to her. Renee Good's children will never see her again.
The White House touted the arrest of activist Nikema Levy-Armstrong and Chantel Allen yesterday. They're among the protesters who stormed this St. Paul church. A pastor there also works for ICE. See the new footage of the moments agents arrested Levy-Armstrong in downtown Minneapolis coming up, all new at 5. We are also learning more about a facility where Columbia Heights.
Okay. And we're going to stop right there because that's all other stuff. But again, like I said, there's a lot. Oh, wait. We need to play this part too. Hold on.
Okay, Jeff, thank you. An internal memo within ICE is raising constitutional questions. It authorizes agents to enter homes without judicial warrants. And that's what the lawyer for a Liberian man said ICE did when they broke down his door last week. During a visit in Minneapolis yesterday, President J.D. Vance reiterated the memo's position that administrative warrants, not ones ordered by a judge, are enough. Legal experts say the policy goes against the Fourth Amendment.
An administrative warrant does not give the ICE or any government official the ability to enter anybody's homes. It has to be a warrant signed by an independent federal judge, and the government must establish that there is probable cause that a crime has been committed or that a particular person who's been suspected of a crime is located in, let's say, a house, or that they want some particular records or material.
Schultz and other experts say administrative warrants allow for the arrest of people, but an arrest is not the same thing under the law as entering someone's residence.
Obviously, you guys already know how I feel about this situation. I think it is very, very messed up that we have ICE agents being able to have pieces of paper that they're calling administrative warrants or administration warrants to be able to do what they're doing. I think that there are laws that have been put out here for many a year to protect civilians and to protect civilians' rights. I just don't think that the administrative warrants are entirely just. But, I get it that there's other people out there, or, I don't agree, but I hear that there are other people that think that this is just fine, that this is how it should be. I feel like they sing a different tune when they start knocking down your door out of a mistake. Let's just be real. You remember what J.D. Vance basically said. They don't have intelligence. They don't have intelligence. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. You see what I'm saying? It's a mother-loving joke, but it's not a mother-loving joke. They don't have intelligence. So they're going to these cities and these towns and these counties and et cetera, and they're just flying blind. And they're hoping that local law enforcement is going to help them, because law enforcement at least has a sliver of intelligence, more intelligence than they do. You see what I'm saying? They have intel. ICE doesn't. Again, they're using blunt force, which is wrong. Yeah. Isn't that ironic that they're not intelligent? They don't have intelligence. That's sad. Remember, they don't even, a lot of them didn't even pass the written exam, but they still got the job, and they're still getting paid as well as a well-paid doctor out here in these streets. But you don't need an education. You don't need to know. You don't need common sense. You don't need the common pieces of knowing the difference between right and wrong. Interesting, right? No intelligence. So you got these guys that are going out there and they're just swinging around a battering ram and hoping that they destroy the right house, right? Break open the front door and go, oh, okay, we got them. You see what I'm saying? That is not right. But you got somebody like Vice President J.D. Vance, who has recently gone on a podium in a recent press conference that we saw yesterday, where he blatantly said, yeah, they don't have the intelligence that they need. They don't have the intel. He said it, not me. That's exactly what he said. They don't have the information that they need. So they're going out there flying blind. They're going to wrong houses. They're going to people's previous residences, scaring the bejesus out of people and their families by knocking on their doors, possibly raiding, just busting open their doors because they got this administrative warrants that don't need to be signed by a judge, just to make sure that they have all their T's crossed and their lowercase j's dotted. Oh, no. No. Now they could just go in on a whim and just get something signed by a higher up real quick and then just bust open a door. And I've already said that is a recipe for disaster. I know some people are like, this is not a recipe for disaster. It's going to be great. It's fantastic. No, it's a recipe for disaster, baby, because some ICE agent's going to open up or bust open the wrong mother-loving door. You got people out here impersonating ICE agents. You got people out here that are ICE agents that you don't even know who they are. You can't even tell they don't have any IDs. They don't have name badges, nothing. They just have ICE on their chest. That's it. That is a recipe for disaster. They're going to walk into the wrong place and they're going to have some serious, serious problems when they walk in that door, walk through that threshold. Okay? Just saying. It's common sense, guys. As Trump likes to say, common sense. This is all common sense. You look at the Breonna Taylor situation, we can have the same thing happen again. Except this time, it's going to be a white person. I'm just going to be real. Like, just wait for it. Somebody who's just ready. Okay? Ready. Thinking, who's breaking in my house? Blah! And then you're going to have an ICE agent gone, or you're going to have a guy who was just standing his ground trying to protect his home because he didn't know who it was trying to break in through his front door. You see what I'm saying, guys? They need to wake up and they need intel. In other words, they need intelligence. I said it and I don't give a fuck. Okay? They need intelligence. But welcome to the world that we live in, right? We're in the upside down. Let's continue.
Trump administration's immigration crackdown and ICE surge in the Twin Cities drew large protests today.
It was part of a general strike and walkout backed by labor leaders and faith groups. Special correspondent Fred DeSam Lazaro begins our coverage with this report from Minneapolis.
ICE out! ICE out! Thousands of people braved bone-chilling temperatures this afternoon for a rally in downtown Minneapolis, protesting what they call a siege of the Twin Cities by federal agents. For many here and throughout the Twin Cities, Renee Nicole Good has become an icon. The 37-year-old mother of three was shot by an ICE officer in Minneapolis 2 weeks ago. Her image now appears widely throughout the Twin Cities. Annie Rose co-owns the Lost Fox, a downtown St. Paul cafe that's a quiet refuge from all the tension outside.
Renee Good is the face of it. It's a face that people can feel comfortable with. She's a woman, she was a mother, she was white, and it's something that we can come back to and say, oh, they came for my neighbors and then they came for me. Well, that is something that we can all resonate with.
Today, she closed.
This is the first time I'm watching this video. Did she just say, hold up, I'm rewinding it. I'm rewinding that. What did she, what the F did she just say?
Annie Rose co-owns the Lost Fox, a downtown St. Paul cafe that's a quiet refuge from all the tension outside.
Renee Good is the face of it. It's a face that people can feel comfortable with. She's a woman.
Huh? She's a face that people can feel comfortable with? What the f does that mean? So if she was brown or black, would it be different? Because she's white woman? Excuse me? I'm rolling that again. I'm just asking the question because that's how I hear it. It sounded like she said that. It's a face that everyone can be comfortable with. Okay. Okay.
It's the Lost Fox, a downtown St. Paul cafe that's a quiet refuge from all the tension outside.
Renee Good is the face of it. It's a face that people can feel comfortable with. She's a woman, she was a mother, she was white, and it's something that we can come back to and say, oh, they came for my neighbors and then they came for me. Well, that is something that we can all resonate with.
Maybe I'm reading into it. That just seems weird. That just seemed a little weird. Does that sound a little weird to you? Hit the number 1 if you think that was weird. That whole thing that she just broke down. What? Okay, we're gonna move on. But that was what the what? So what about any other person that's lost their lives that happens to be brown or black? They're not faces that we could be comfortable with too. I mean, maybe she was trying to say something else, but it came out wrong. I'm trying to give her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but she did say what she said now, didn't she?
Today, she closed the place, even though it's tough to lose a Friday evening's revenue in the slowest month of the year, she says.
Oh, wow.
It's already hard out here. Every January, I take out a no-interest credit card to make sure I can make payroll. This year, I'm going to probably have to pay interest on that credit card.
Across the metro area, hundreds of small businesses, especially restaurants, heeded a call to observe a general strike, many in sympathy with immigrant-owned shops where business has plummeted sharply amid fears of ICE patrols. Schools in the area also closed today. Labor unions led the call for the general strike, but the decision was made easier by today's life-threatening low temperatures. Still, Annie Rose said she felt compelled to brace them.
It's all fear-based. You're afraid to go to rallies, whether it's cold, you're afraid to go to rallies because you don't want to be shot. You're afraid to stand up for things because of fear. And how can you live your life if you're constantly in fear? It's important to show my kids that, no, you can stand up for what you believe in.
Protesters marched about a mile through downtown Minneapolis to the indoor basketball arena. The DHS gave no signs today of easing up on its surge on the Twin Cities in the days.
Of course not. They're not going to stop, guys. They're not going to stop. It would be insane for them. It'd be insane for us to think otherwise. Okay? Let me just make that abundantly clear. It would be absolutely insane for us to think that they're going to just let things slide. Okay? There's no way that they're going to just ease up. They're gonna tighten their grip even more. You understand that? My beautiful, beautiful ladies and germs. Ladies and gentlemen, because, gentlemen aren't germs, okay? But on some real stuff. Come on now. Gentlemen aren't germs. Okay. Nope. Not echoing, Annette. You might want to reboot your the YouTube channel. Your YouTube page. Okay? But nonetheless, they're going to tighten up even more. The grip is going to be even tighter. They're not done. They're not done by a long shot. They're in Maine right now. Come on, Maine. They in Maine, Maine. They in Maine. And then now they're everywhere, pretty much. They're freaking everywhere, man. They're doing door to door in certain areas. And they're going to continue to do so. And all because of this guy behind this pillar right here, Gregory Bovino.
He's ahead. On Thursday, Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino was asked if there's a number of arrests agents were targeting.
There is a number, and it's called all of them.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said 10,000, quote, criminal illegal aliens have been arrested here, a sharp spike from the start of the week when the agency put the figure at 3,000. But the department has released details of far fewer cases, which it calls the worst of the worst. All this comes at a time of rising public scrutiny. ICE officers detained a 5-year-old boy on Tuesday during an immigration enforcement operation. At a press conference today, Marcos Charles, the head of ICE's deportation branch, said the boy was being cared for.
We do everything in our power not to separate families. So they took him back together to Minneapolis, here to the city, to the ICE facility for processing. And now they are being well cared for at a family residential center.
This is what community looks like.
On Thursday, 3 prominent civic activists were arrested after an anti-ICE protest at a St. Paul church. The White House later posted an AI-manipulated image of one woman to its social media account.
Wow, they really did that. Like, they have some people be like, yo, White House is based, bro. White House is so based, bro. Whoa, bro, it's so based. But come on now. The Bill of Rights, I love you too. Proud to be an American. But that's some savage stuff, y'all. That's savage. Like, I can see that any other trolling account, but like, they are the come on, White House Twitter just did this. I'm sorry. It is very on par for them. You know what I mean? It was probably Caroline. She's probably the one who did that. You know what I'm saying? She's probably the one who did that. Come on now. That's savage. That's some savage stuff. It's fun. I'm going to be like, I'm laughing. It's funny, but at the same time, I don't think it's right that the White House is doing this kind of stuff. The White House is supposed to be diplomatic, not this. You know what I'm saying? It's not putting out. This is come on now, propaganda.
When asked about the image, Kaylin Dorr, the White House Deputy Communications Director, wrote, "Enforcement of the law will continue. The memes will continue." At a separate anti-ICE rally today, roughly 100 people, including members of clergy, were arrested after protesting outside a terminal at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport.
People were there, people of the Lord. People cut from the same cloth, everyone. People from the same cloth of the Lord were actually arrested, guys. And put on mother-loving buses. Yeah. Now you got them on buses, y'all. Buses. Oh, my God. Members of the clergy. Yep, they're sitting there just praying to the Lord, and then they get arrested. Why did they get arrested? See, that's the one thing I'm wondering. Why did members of the clergy get arrested? Real talk, why did they get arrested? They were on their knees doing this, praying. So why did they get arrested? What law did they break? And it doesn't look like they were blocking traffic or anything crazy like that. Interesting, right? Interesting.
I am slowly losing hope, and that is a problem, and that's what keeps me up at night. But then I go to rallies, like you asked why I'm going to go to the rally, and that is to see hope in process.
For the PBS NewsHour, this is Fred.
I mean, yes, there's a lot of people. I'm just playing this here really quick so you guys can see the people. Now, of course, they're like, please subscribe. So here's the thing. This is very interesting, y'all. Just to be completely real. This has been going on all day. It's still going on as we speak. I think X went down. I think X is down right now, just so you guys know. But here's something else that is interesting. And for those of y'all who don't know what's going on, there has been more going on in regards to hold on. What? Hold on, guys. Some other breaking news apparently is going on right now as we speak. Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. Is this for real? Oh, wow. We got some things going on, baby. But first, before I go into that, really quick, they talked about a 5-year-old boy that was taken, right? And of course, a lot of people, like I said, there's been a lot of conflicting information. Some people are saying that 5-year-old boy was, taken and used as bait to get the parents, or at least the parent. Okay. But then there's also stories saying that the parent ran like just took off, leaving the kid behind. And then ICE was like, what are we supposed to do? Just leave the kid sitting here by himself? No, we're going to get him, take him, and make sure he's taken care of, right? But now we got a new story. We got a new one. It has to do with a 2-year-old girl now. 2-year-old girl and father were taken by ICE in Minneapolis as well. Yeah. So here's this story. This is something that's been popping off recently. So a 2-year-old girl and her father were taken by ICE on Thursday, according to a Minneapolis council member. The DHS confirmed it has detained the father, who was with the child at that time. Elvis, I'll just say his first name, okay? Elvis and Chloe, 2-year-old Chloe, were taken in South Minneapolis on their way home from the grocery store. Minneapolis City Council member Jason Chavez said this on Instagram. A spokesperson for DHS confirmed that the father was taken into custody. He was driving with a child when he was stopped. The agency did not identify the child, age, or gender, at that time. A suspicious vehicle followed her father's vehicle home, all right? Broke his window and kidnapped them. This is what Jason Chavez said in a post. Now, what's weird is if he said that's the one thing that's really frustrating about all this is how they'll use they'll pull up to their home and then all of a sudden they just break their window. And I'm wondering why, right? Are there body cam ons? Are there body cam on them? Is there any body cameras being used in regards to this situation? I think that's very important information to know too. But guess what? There are no body cameras on these ICE agents, okay? There's very few, okay? So no judicial warrant was provided. That is also massively important. It doesn't want me to highlight anything, but judicial warrants are absolutely important, but apparently they're just using administrative warrants right now. That's literally what they're doing. But you heard J.D. Vance say himself. You heard J.D. Vance himself say they are not using these administrative warrants, but they are. In a brief interview with NBC News, he confirmed that they had been taken and added that he met with the father and daughter's family on Thursday evening. DHS said in a statement that the father was an illegal immigrant from Ecuador who committed felony re-entry and broke laws of this nation. Spokesperson added that DHS law enforcement took care of the child who the mother would not take. And that the child and father are now reunited at the federal facility. In other words, they're at the detention facility. Okay? That's crazy. DHS said the father was driving erratically with a child in the vehicle. And here's her beautiful 2-year-old face. Just so you guys know. So he later parked the car, all right, and agents attempted to take the father into custody, but he refused multiple lawful commands to open his door or lower his window. Agents took the father into custody and attempted to give the child to the mother who was in the area, but the mother refused. The 2-year-old's mother could not immediately be reached for a comment. What kind of mother would sit there and go, no, I don't want that child? That's messed up. And you call yourself a mother. During the arrest, the father, approximately 120 individuals surrounded the agents, blocking them in and preventing them from exiting. So as they went up and pulled up to the crib, the father's crib, they boxed him in. They broke the window because he allegedly refused to open the door. And they forced him out. They took the child. Then a bunch of people in the neighborhood saw what was going on and they surrounded the area, preventing the ICE from being able to leave. Okay? The bystanders then began throwing rocks and garbage cans towards the agents and child before crowd control measures were deployed. In other words, tear gas, pepper spray, etc., etc., etc. The apprehension comes days after 5-year-old Liam Ramos, the one that we were just talking about, and his father, Adrian, were taken into custody by ICE, incensing the Twin Cities and drawing international media attention. DHS said that 5-year-old Liam's mother refused to take him. So Liam's mother also, in quotations, refused to take the child when ICE agents were apprehending his father, who is now in federal custody with Liam in Texas. So the kid is with the papa in a detention facility, an ICE detention facility in Texas. So school board chair Mary Granlund, who witnessed Liam and his father being taken into custody, disputed DHS's claims, telling reporters on Thursday that she heard an adult inside the home begging agents to leave the child. Remember, this is the information that's been coming out here. People are saying that they used the child as bait, that they grabbed him and said, "You want your boy? Come out here and get your boy. Come get your son. We will take your son." That's what allegedly they were saying. We just heard from DHS basically saying we pulled up, they were in the car, or that we pulled up and we took the father. We offered Liam to the mother. The mother said, no, thank you. And so they took the child too. But now you're hearing from another person, a school board member, saying that she saw something different and heard something completely different. Let me repeat what she said. She witnessed Liam and his father being taken into custody. And she was disputing what DHS originally said, telling reporters on Tuesday that she heard an adult inside the home begging agents to leave the child. I would assume that was the mama. The apprehensions come amid a broader immigration crackdown in the Twin Cities. More than 3,000 federal immigration personnel have descended on Minnesota since December in what the federal government has dubbed Operation Metro Surge. What's interesting, they at least have that. They don't call it catch of the day like Maine. Ain't that wild? They got, because, Maine, etc. I'm sure there's a lot of fishmongers out there and all that. So they call it catch of the day. That's just jacked up, y'all. Immigration authorities were sent to the city after a right-wing YouTuber, which we already know about this Nick Shirley situation. Okay, it definitely sparked a lot of interest. It definitely sparked a lot of attention, and it definitely got Trump's focus for sure. Hence the reason why we are here in this situation. Again, this is very crazy. You got a 2-year-old girl that was taken by ICE and father. They say that the 2-year-old was given back to the mom. The mom said, no, I'm good. That she didn't want the baby. What? And that's weird. Then the same situation with the 5-year-old. DHS says they tried to give the 5-year-old back to the mama, and the mama said, no, thank you. So they took the baby boy as well. But we're hearing another story from somebody else saying, nope, we saw and heard something completely different. Wild. And the plot continues to thicken. Trust and believe. But let's continue on. There is something else that's been going on, which is absolutely insane. I wanted to share that piece with you guys because that piece is very important about the 2-year-old and the 5-year-old. And like I said, which one do you believe? Do you believe the DHS or do you believe the bystander, the eyewitness, right? Which one do you believe? Now, here's what's interesting. Apparently, there are protesters occupying a San Diego mayor's office right now. What? This is breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Breaking news. We got to take a look at this. This is absolutely crazy. I'm just catching wind of this right now, or right before I read that article with you guys. We got to take a look at this.
People have actually locked themselves inside Mayor Todd Gloria's office. Our Jeanette Quesada is there with what is transpiring there with PD. Why are they protesting, Jeanette?
Well, Monica, I can tell you that they were protesting, saying that they are demanding that the mayor gives a clear directive that SDPD does not participate with any ICE agents. And just moments ago, officers came in from inside the mayor's office. All those 6 protesters that were barricaded inside have been arrested, and the signs that were placed here have also been removed. You can see the door has now been opened, and the barricade that they had used to block off the entrance to the mayor's office has been removed. As of right now, again, there were dozens of officers that went inside the building to arrest those protesters that were inside. But earlier, right before that happened, we did have an opportunity to speak with one of the protesters who was inside. And again, he mentioned that they had a list of demands that they were asking the mayor, that they had emailed the mayor prior, and they had not received a response.
This is
and that was their reason
insane.
for sitting in. They were hoping to speak with the mayor one-on-one, and they said that they had been here since about 9:30 this morning, but they had not been able to speak with him. And so they decided to begin barricading themselves, and they had been here for a few hours waiting to speak to him. At one point, they began chanting, saying, hey, Todd, listen to your people, as you are hearing there. And here is what one of them had to share with us.
We were told that we were going to be able to meet him at 9:40 this morning. We were given a 15-minute estimated time. We waited until 11 in the morning. Once 11 o'clock hit, we decided to practice our rights of freedom of speech, and we started to protest. We started making a little bit of noise because we need answers. We're here for action. We're not here to wait.
And we were told that the City Hall building was actually locked up to the public, so there was no public access while this operation took place. Also, while the protesters were inside, there was another group of protesters out in the hallway, just kind of giving support to the protesters that were inside. But for now, that's all the information that we have. And as we get new developments, we will keep you updated. Live from City Hall, Jeanette.
Oh my golly. Oh my golly. This is absolutely insane. Hold on. There's more. There's some live feed stuff that's going on from in other places here.
They've rebranded it to the People's Office, and they've also listed their demands right outside the door. I'm going to let you listen in on what's happening.
Listen to the people. Listen to the people. Listen to the people. Listen to the people. Listen to the people.
They're listening to, I believe, law enforcement is in the building. Looks like things just went quiet really quickly.
Yeah. This is inside the mayor's office in San Diego.
And they're having a little group meeting here. There's about 6 people inside there. The mayor is not one of them. And it sounds like they are negotiating with law enforcement through one of those doors back there, again, asking for the meeting that they've been asking for since 9 this morning. It looks like they are negotiating. It sounds like they are negotiating with law enforcement or some form of security.
We need you to call Todd.
We will be very, very peaceful. We have actionable things we need from him. If he comes, we will absolutely open these doors from the people's office, and he can try to talk us into giving it back to him.
Man, ain't nobody gonna be listening to them after this. You think that the mayor's gonna be willing to sit down with y'all, like with them after this? No. Like this is not. So you don't listen. Like I always say, you want to protest all you want. Okay. But this is giving off a different vibe. This is not going to make the mayor go, oh yeah, I trust these guys. They're not going to do anything wild or dangerous. They just did this. They did this. You really think that he's going to want to sit down with all them comfortably? Like, this is not helping you know what I'm saying? This is not helping the situation, baby.
What we need to do is have a clear policy when it comes to HSI and ICE with the San Diego Police Department. It needs to be clear because people are dying. It's not okay to be vague in this moment and this time. Please call Todd. Tell him to come to his former office to meet with the people now. And we'll open this up and have a conversation with him, and all of you are invited to the conversation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you kindly. Tell Todd we said hello. And we've been enjoying the couches. We're watching Friends. These couches are very comfortable. I would say the desk is kind of pretty nice wood. I don't know, is that mahogany or is that a cherry wood? That's a very nice desk though.
As you can see, things have calmed down here a little bit. They stopped their chanting, but they did rebrand it to the People's Office. They also posted this note on Todd's plaque right here, and they also listed their demands on the doors. So there's no sign of law enforcement in this actual lobby right now, or in this waiting area. There's a few people out here with this group. There's 6 people in there. The mayor is not in there. He has not been in there for hours. And these people are planning to stay here as long as necessary.
Now, these guys already got arrested, just so you know. These guys already got arrested. But like I said, that's not clear thinking. I'm just going to be real. I understand being passionate, being angry, wanting to make sure that the mayor is on the same side as you guys and all that. And I get being upset of being stood up. You know, you're expecting something to happen and it doesn't happen. I get it. I've been there many times. Shoot, I went through that this morning. So I know how it feels. But lashing out and doing this is not going to solve anything. That conversation that you could have eventually had with the mayor, now it's not going to happen. But you see, now thinking you guys are unhinged. People aren't thinking. Let me see. I'm skipping ahead a little bit to see what else happened here.
Or accidentally shoot one of my kids because ICE and HSI are literally buffoons, untrained, with massive weapons coming into our homes. They have no training. They hold their gun like this. They're not trained. Save our lives, save our kids, save our families. I can't believe he's refusing to speak to this. We're not crazies or radicals. We literally speak. We're worried. We're scared. We're very, very scared. Please talk to us.
You know, it's crazy that they're saying, we're not crazy. We're not crazy. We're not like that. I swear to God, we're not like that. But you did that. You know, there's other ways to get your voice heard. There's other ways to get his attention. This is not one of them, guys. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, I get it. Trust me. I get this being scared. I get the desperation. I get wanting to get your voice heard. But now they're not going to listen to the voice. They're looking at the action. They're not listening to the words. They're listening to the and staring at the actions that you're doing. You see what I'm saying? So again, you know, sure it takes balls to do something like this, but does this get the right attention? That's the question that these people should be asking themselves. Does this get the right attention?
Name? Jean Wong. How do I spell it? Janewong. They call me Blue. BLEU though.
Thank you.
Doesn't want to talk. We can remind him. We got burritos.
Yeah, we got
We got burritos, baby. We can eat good. It's all left.
What's your name, sir, if you don't mind sharing it?
My name is Biggs. 3 B's, 2 G's, 1 G. And I'm in the middle. I'm Mr. Talk to Me Nice, Mr. All the Above, Mr. Everything You Need, Mr. Southeast, Mr. 619, baby. We outside.
You guys ask him to come and talk to us. Like, it's really that simple.
Make the break bread like Jesus said.
Do we have a Spanish speaker? Okay.
All right. So just another update for those just joining us on this Facebook Live right now. People have barricaded themselves. This is the lobby to the mayor's office. It's not technically in his office. It's in between his office and this main section. And so there's 6 people in there. The mayor is not in there, but as you can kind of see right there, they've used materials that they found in the mayor's office to barricade that door. And you can kind of see these signs right here. They've listed their demands. Again, there's 6 people in there. They have been here at City Hall asking for a meeting with the mayor since this morning. And they told me this afternoon they were chanting and protesting after being told they could have a meeting, and then the meeting didn't happen. And so they were chanting and protesting also in that stairway back there. And then they moved in here around 2 p.m. and that's when they barricaded the door. They've been in there ever.
Man, oh man. Well, now you got people out there now you got San Diego. The protests are only going to start spreading even more. Like I've said before, get ready for it, because it is going to spread more. This is just nuts. All of this is just nuts. Shocking and nutty. But get ready for it, because I have a feeling it's only going to get crazier. But let's continue on. I got a few other things here. Let's see. Let's get over here. Yeah, because it's interesting. Right now, I'm not X. I think is down. I think Twitter's down, or at least I think it is. Yeah, I think Twitter's down. Oh, not anymore. It was earlier. Hold on. There's a lot more, but hold on, guys. There's a lot to look at. There's interesting. So let me look at this. This is something new. I'm just looking at this right here. This is all news to me. Apparently, there's a new reporting saying that a judge refused an FBI warrant seeking to investigate Renee Good for suspected assault on an officer, according to 3 people briefed on the matter. So a judge blocked the FBI from being able to dive in deeper into Renee Good to, as far as her doing what she did behind the wheel of the car. Let's take a look at this. This is interesting. Very interesting. A judge just blocked it.
What we learned was this, that after agents in Minneapolis did what they would normally do in this kind of shooting with a federal officer of an unarmed civilian, began to open up an investigation into the shooting. They wanted to get a search warrant for her car, which had been taken away from the scene, because they wanted to reconstruct the ballistics for a civil rights investigation of the officer. It doesn't mean the officer did something wrong. It means that when a federal officer shoots and kills somebody, we look into it to make sure that the use of deadly force was appropriate. So that investigation went nowhere, because the folks in Todd Blanche, Deputy Attorney General Blanche's office, directed that the U.S. attorney, the acting U.S. attorney there, shutter that investigation, and that FBI agents instead redraw the search warrant with a different subject. In other words, instead of a civil rights investigation, the subject matter was going to be Renee Good as a suspect attacking a federal officer, or what's called, in parlance, AFO, assault on a federal officer. what's so unusual about this, Chris, and the reason I really wanted to verify and corroborate and ultimately report this, what's so shocking is that a magistrate judge shut down this warrant and said no. And it's not that shocking now that you know what it's about, but it's just not normal for a federal magistrate judge to say to a prosecutor, you haven't met this really low burden of proof that there might be a crime here. The judge turned to the prosecutors, I'm told by sources, and said, she's dead. We are not going to proceed.
That's crazy. That is crazy. So instead of them investigating into the ICE agent, Jonathan Ross, they decided, okay, let's shift gears and let's look into Renee Good. And the judge, they got a point. She gone. What do they have to look into? The deed is done. She drove the car. She gone now. Shot 3 times. Wait, what? What's that all about? What the hell is that all about? Oh, my Lord. It was minus 20 degrees outside in Minneapolis. That is insane. With a negative 38 wind chill out there today. Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, I mean, a lot of people had time for that. They came out. They showed up and they showed out. Real talk. But yeah, ICE, it's just, man, this whole thing's crazy. There's so much going on. There's so much craziness going on. Now, again, this is a little bit of a left turn, but I do need to bring this to you guys because, of course, we have been covering this case a bit too, but it kind of went dead for a little while. Remember Celeste Rivas and David, or D4VD, okay, D4VD? Remember that guy? Remember how she was found in the front trunk of a Tesla and all that, and all the stuff all the mucky muck that was going on with that? Okay, well, now we got a new update. His friend Neo, one of his best friends and one of his assistants, if I'm correct, Neo has now been arrested in failure to show up for to testify, basically to testify in this grand jury. So we have got to talk about this because this is absolutely crazy. So again, this guy Neo, one of his close friends that a lot of people have been side-eyeing, thinking that maybe he knows something or is involved in this possible moving of her body and all that, trying to hide her body and all that, right? He has been arrested now. Okay, there's actual photos of him actually getting arrested here as well. And it says, while David remains in the crosshairs of investigators probing the Celeste Rivas murder, one of his friends, a famous streamer, is now in trouble. So, Neo Langston was booked into the Montana jail Thursday on a warrant, according to online records. There they are. The best of friends. Probably the best of lovers, too. But that's another. Secret lovers. Yeah, that's what they are. That's what I think. Just maybe a little zesty. That's a little zesty. Sure, it says, sounds gay. I'm in. I mean, it just, you just never know. It's LA, baby. It's LA, baby. It's LA. Moving on. Rep for Lewis and Clark County Jail, where Neo was locked up, tells TMZ, the article that we're reading here, there was an out of jurisdiction warrant from Los Angeles for failure to appear as a witness. He's currently held without bond. That's interesting because we know there's been a grand jury convened since at least November in the Celeste unaliving case. And multiple witnesses have already testified. Our sources have told us David is likely to be charged with her murder, which is also interesting. There he is when he was young and not being connected to muerte. But moving on. Unclear if the 23-year-old Neo was being called as a witness in the Rivas case, but this connection to David can't be ignored. It's documented on social media that David and Neo are friends and hang out. I guess that's what they call it nowadays. Is that what the kids say nowadays? I just thought they were just bumping uglies. But moving on. We broke the story. TMZ saying that they broke the story. Last month, David's day-to-day manager, Robert Morgenroth, testified for days. A TMZ reporter heard Morgenroth tell his lawyer in the courtroom hallway. The prosecutor, Beth Silverman, was very pushy as to why he didn't call the police. I feel like that's a good question to ask, dagnabbit. Morgenroth said he responded by saying it wasn't his responsibility and his job was to make sure that David's tour kept going. Even when you have someone lose their life, it's like they still got to perform, right? They still got tour dates. There was also talk in the courtroom hallway. The grand jury could hear more witnesses in 2026. So again, maybe they subpoenaed him, okay? And he just didn't show up. That's what it sounds like, right? He was supposed to testify and he did not show up. And he's smiling in his mugshot. Ain't that crazy? Smiling in the mugshot. But that's a real thing right there too. Now, again, people have been side-eyeing Neo because he's good friends with David. They were very close friends. Clearly, he knew everything about the relationship that David was having with Celeste Rivas. Him getting arrested is not that big of a surprise to me. If you're not going to show up to when you're supposed to testify, that tells me something's up. So maybe he knows something. I feel like he really does know something. But let's move on. We got one last piece here. Like I said, it's going to be a shorter show today, guys. But here's the thing. There's a lot of people now bracing for ICE. But no, it's not the ICE that you're thinking of that people are protesting out here in these streets. I detest this ICE more than anything in the world. And we're talking about precipitation, frozen precipitation, guys. Yeah, we talk about that snow and that ice that's about to just bump everybody up the bunghole. Let's take a look at this. The world is getting ready for impact. It's about to get crazy. Starting allegedly tonight, going on through Sunday. It's about to be bad, man. It's about to be really, really bad. Let's take a look.
News governors in multiple states at this hour warning millions of Americans of a catastrophic winter storm just now starting to hit. At least 17 states declaring states of emergency already tonight. Heavy snow, dangerous ice, freezing rain, and then life-threatening brutal cold moving in. More than 180 million people under alerts. The massive storm building in Texas and Oklahoma, stretching 2,000 miles across the south into the Carolinas and then up the coast into the Northeast.
I'm wondering, are we going to see Texas go through another power outage? Are we going to see Ted Cruz jump on a plane and fly out to Cancun again? Are we back to that again? Literally, guys, listen. Haven't we seen this movie before? Haven't we seen this episode before? What the hell is going on? Is this a rerun? But the cast is just a little bit different? Think about it. Is this like a reboot of a famous show? And they just changed a couple of the actors? But it's all the same BS? Remember the first term? Remember the infrastructure in Texas completely collapsing because it got super cold? Remember that? And then Ted Cruz jumping on a plane and he flew out to Cancun and he was chilling, not chilling, but you know what I'm saying, getting a tan, right? He was getting his tan on out there in Cancun while everybody's freezing the booties off. Remember that? Are we seeing that again? Are we repeating this crap again? except it's going to be more massive, more power outages. They even saying that it might get so cold. How cold could it get, Pascal? That it will get so cold that trees are going to explode. I'm not kidding. They're saying it's going to get so cold that trees, woods, is just going to explode. Yeah. Just skadoosh. What in the hell is going on here? And when it comes to power outages, does this mean that everybody and their mama going to get power outages too? Like everybody? I'm concerned. Like, you know, I know everybody wants the winter wonderland, right? I get it. Not this though. Nobody wants this. This is going to be bad. So, you know, I did a little skit on it. Okay, it's pinned to the top of the chat. It's very, very quick. It's very short. But again, like really, make sure if you are in the path of this, please make sure you have every precaution ready. Okay? Make sure you have everything lined up because we are literally in a very wild situation here. And it's a lot of snow. It's a lot of states that are about to get blasted. A lot of people are going to be in dire straits here, especially the elders, especially your mamas, your papas, your gams, your pawpaws. Call them. Make sure that they have what they need, okay, before this storm hits. If you are in the path of the storm. If you're in California or in like the southern tip of Florida, you're going to be fine. Okay? Y'all going to be fine. But if you are in any way, shape, or form in the path of this, make sure you have your stuff and make sure the people that you care for have their stuff too. Because this is we're about to see some rock and roll out here in these streets.
Washington, D.C., Philadelphia. In New York City, city officials tonight are preparing for up to a foot of snow.
Damn.
Authorities warning of dangerous driving even before the storm. Dashcam video showing a driver losing control, crashing on I-70 in Belmont County, Ohio. Philadelphia loading plows and sanders with salt tonight. The city declaring a snow emergency. Drivers urged to stay off the roads. It's going to be a dangerous mix of freezing rain, ice, and snow. Thousands of flights already canceled tonight, right through tomorrow. They are expecting some airports to close down entirely for hours on Sunday. From New York to Texas tonight, a familiar scene playing out. Customers lining up at grocery stores. This image here in New York, stocking up on supplies tonight. Stores across the country now with bare shelves. Lee Goldberg standing by to time this out. The potential ice and snow totals depending on where you are, and we'll take you right through it. And ABC's Morgan Norwood leading us off tonight from Dallas, where the system is just getting started tonight.
Tonight, that powerful winter storm threatening more than half the country, set to slam millions with heavy snow and crippling ice. Authorities warning families to take this seriously from New York all the way down to Texas. New York Governor Kathy Hochul tonight.
This is a very dangerous combination of heavy snow and extreme cold temperatures.
New York City bracing for what could be its biggest snowstorm in nearly 5 years, up to a foot possible. Epic lines at grocery stores, parts of the South bracing for potentially catastrophic impacts, up to an inch of ice possible. Fears of more crashes like these in Belmont County, Ohio this week. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee sounding the alarm.
We all know that there is a very serious winter storm coming. Snow, sleet, ice, freezing rain. Very dangerous conditions.
In Texas, road crews out in force. And here in Dallas, brine trucks, sand, cones strategically placed under major overpasses so road crews can quickly respond as conditions worsen. Officials warning the ice could knock out power for days.
We're going to monitor all of the impacts to the electric grid.
Utility teams racing into the storm zone ahead of expected widespread power outages. And right after this storm, brutally cold temperatures sweeping in from the north across most of this country, expected to last for days. Our Alex Perez is in Chicago.
Here near Lake Michigan in Chicago, you can see the water is completely frozen over. The Midwest in a deep freeze. The feel-like temperature in some spots 30 to 40 below zero.
That brutal cold will soon spread across the country. And David, with this nearly 2,000-mile wide storm already developing, the rain is here in Dallas, and the big concern is temperatures plunge overnight. Everything, these roads, will turn to ice. David.
Man, like I said, if you are in the area, if you are in any of these states that are about to get hit, okay, please be careful, because it's about to be crazy starting. I mean, it's already starting. It's already getting crazy in a lot of other places right now. So again, please be careful. Yeah, I agree with Classic. Just stay home. Please don't try to be adventurous. And even so, I get it that you have like a 4-wheel drive. Good on you that you have a 4-wheel drive. Okay. Not a lot of people have 4-wheel drive. But I would say, please, don't even venture out like that. Wait till the roads are clear enough. Again, if you haven't gotten what you need to get, and you still have a little bit of time, and it's too late to get stuff right now, try first thing in the morning. Okay. Try first thing in the morning and just get your stuff. Yes, bring your animals inside, and just stay inside. Make it a movie night or movie day, Netflix and chill. Watch this show if as long as there's still power in my neck of the woods. Okay. And just stay safe. I'll be keeping an eye on this as well. I mean, we'll most likely be talking about this first thing in the morning when things start going. When they start to report it more. But they're saying that this is a winter storm like no other. Again. So again, guys, just be safe out there. All right. But guys, that is the show. Appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it, do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching these on these other platforms. Also, I do have a little skit. It's a little funny little thing. It is pinned to the top of the chat right now as we speak. Go click on it after you see this show. Go click on it and check it out. Okay? If you need a quick chuckle. All right? Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it, do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. And if you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button, please and thank you. Don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel. Subscribe right here on YouTube. Subscribe to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload on both platforms, because honestly, it is random. And a lot of it's breaking news, okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there. And I'll see you guys very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.